Among the tens of thousands who call on shelter for help, a large number belong in the ranks of the hidden homeless. Few statistics exist about them. Their problems are family affairs. The hidden homeless are those taken in by their well-intentioned friends or in-laws who discover subsequently that they don't want the homeless on their doorstep, even if they are family.
Well, we started off living with in-laws, with a mother, like, and things started getting a bit crowded, and, you know, everyone was under the way, like me coming in different times for my job and that, and my mum decided that I could stay with her for the time being until we get a flat or a house or something to live in, and then was taken into hospital for a couple of months, so, you know, for the kids' sake, now I moved back up to her mother's, and then come back out of hospital a few months later, and things weren't going too well again, like, and there was a row, and they flung us out, you know, and that's when we got into the Lambeth. They put us in a bed and breakfast place. We've been there 9 weeks now, and we haven't heard from them since. We just go down there every week, pay the rent, and they send us back to the bed and breakfast place.
In many cases, suitable accommodation answers all problems. But there are unnumbered families with a multitude of different problems, particular in every case to their own circumstances. The Bradleys, for instance, could perhaps cope living 5 to a room. But here, overcrowding becomes unendurable, with 3-year-old Sarah a victim of spina bifida.
It's really for the kids at night time, you know. They've no room down there to play. And did you be awake at all hours of the night? They usually go to bed at 7, but it's 11 o'clock when they're going to sleep, you know. And we're hitting them all the time because we're all on top of one another, you know. And then the baby can't go around either. She creeps on the floor, you know. She can't walk. That's right, fine. I need a bigger place, you know.
Mrs. Perry's been living in this bleak flat for close on 30 years. She hadn't heard a word from her landlord in 2 years until one day his agent turned up with £500 in cash to tempt Mrs. Perry to quit, because her departure would add several £1,000s to the value of his property. While she thought about his offer, he put up a for sale notice outside.
Well, I just happened to go to the window one morning and I saw it there. I was there and I was quite shocked. So immediately I went round to the shelters and then I went to my MP as well to make sure that a private owner didn't buy it, you see, because I thought if a private owner bought it, you know, I'd probably be, you know, sort of be unpleasant for me, you see.
A less visible, but no less real dimension of homelessness is the experience of those families who occupy substandard housing. In Britain today, 1 in every 6 houses falls in that category. To what degree is a family homeless if their home lacks a hot water tap, a cold tap, or any running water at all, not to mention a shower and let alone a room with a bath in it? These rickety skeletons of an earlier England may seem picturesque to some and disgusting to others. But unless they live there, nobody can quite grasp the despair of looking out upon a 20th century world from a hovel that belongs firmly in another, nastier age.
That works in winter because really when you got up in the morning, you've got to apply some artificial heat because of the extreme dampness and coldness, really.
Once employed as a public health inspector, David Ormandy is now Shelter's public health officer. Using his detailed knowledge of legislation, he's well qualified to bring negligent landlords to their senses in court.
There's cracks around the ceiling and the walls, which are quite bad, and there is dampness on the wall surfaces caused by rising dampness on this side. The wallpaper on this side is pulling away from the wall due to the condensation, and the floor is very badly uneven and sloping quite violently. The windows, there is rotten woodwork to the sill on this side caused by the dampness and splashing from the sink. There is a broken sash cord this side of the window, which makes it difficult to open the window and to close it. The sink, there's hot water over the sink, which works as cold water, and the sink, although old, is reasonable.
Today we recoil from the damage done by those crass post-war planners whose conceits were so remote from the communities they destroyed in the brave new world of comprehensive developments. Shelter sponsored a project to discover the real housing situation as seen by the public, not the planners, where basically sound buildings had been deliberately run down. Researchers from the North Islington Housing Rights Project undertook door-to-door inquiries, street by street, to get at the truth of people's lives and opinions, facts seldom found upon the planner's drawing board.
Do you think that anything needs doing to this house in the way of repairs and improvements?
Oh, definitely.
What kind of things?
Well, this outside is in a terrible dilapidated condition, and I'm always putting in complaints about the various situations here, but of course nothing is done. You say tomorrow, tomorrow, that's all I get.
Chris Holmes directed the research.
The real problems of this area, I think, stem from large numbers of terraced houses built about 80 or 90 years ago, which for far too long were neglected. For too many years, the local authority neither improved nor replaced the obsolete houses. And the private landlords, who own most of them, have had neither the resources nor the organisation nor the incentive to bring them up to a decent standard for the benefit of the type of tenants who are living in the area at the moment. And so we have now a vast stock of old, multi-occupied houses, often lacking even basic amenities. And the people who are living here are people who can't afford to go anywhere else. Families on low incomes, elderly people, immigrant families, one-parent families, all clustered within the same area, trapped, not able to get out. And only public authorities have the resources to make improvements.
Just as neglected areas can be redeveloped piecemeal without destroying their character and community, so dilapidated houses, which are basically sound, can also be brought back into habitation, as Circle 33 has done in Camden and Islington. Housing associations like Circle 33 receive their capital from a mix of exchequer and local authority grants, and use it to finance property purchase and excellent conversion. Since 1966, Shelter has provided 20,000 low-rental homes for low-income families through housing associations. Circle 33, which also gets money from Shelter, is run by Caroline Pickering.
The sorts of improvement that we are doing is in fact not simply the lick of paint and generally sort of tidying up the house, but a full-scale rehabilitation of a house, a revitalization, if you like, putting back a new lease of life into old houses that are dilapidated, no bathroom, outside lavatory, no running water. These houses, in fact, are thoroughly overhauled. They get the new damp-proof courses most often, new hot water system, they are self-contained, or if they are being made into single-family houses, they also will be given a thorough conversion. Into them we are trying to provide, in fact, a good house for 30 years, because after all this is the terms of our mortgage. Recently the housing associations have really begun to be a major force in the housing field, and they now represent a very growing and major alternative to local authority housing, not instead of in any way. I think this is very important to be clearly understood, that in fact we aren't trying to replace or be in competition with local authorities. We are very much a third arm. We're providing additional housing, and housing in terms of both finance and resources, in a much needed area.